Welcome back to my Session 8 assignment memo slash video. This week's reading and presentation topic are on performance assessment. My learning targets for this week are the following. You'll be able to explain the advantages and disadvantages of creating a performance task. You'll be able to distinguish between a holistic and analytic rubric. There are two types, so you will know the difference and how to use them and when to use them. And you'll also be able to describe the process for creating a student-friendly rubric and how to involve your students in that process. Your assignments for this week are, and I'll go into the assignment folder. Let me see if I can find it here. Here are your learning activities for this session. You have a true-false test on the absence of bias. You've had one on validity and reliability, and this is the last leg of that triangle, test creation triangle, absence of bias. This is a true-false test, so I would advise taking the hard copy, which you'll find in course materials. Take that first, then go into the discussion board, the quiz discussion board, and try to create a discussion around ones you may not be sure of. Okay, your initial select a response test is due this session, so you have 2 weeks. Because we have a vacation week. This session will last for 2 weeks, so you will upload that in your group, and I want to show you what that looks like. I think Justin has done it in my 64021 section. And I'll show you how to do that, or what it should look like. You're just going to attach it. No, it's not in this. You can see there's in group 4. I'm going to click on group 4. You can see that Justin has, all he's done, he has uploaded as a document, and that's all I want you to do. I don't want any discussion in this discussion board. I want you to go in there, upload your test, and then download the tests of your group. So you would click on this, right click, save link as, and then create a folder for all of your tests. Now, you're going to have to take, when it comes to the next discussion board, and I will show you where that is, you're going to have to take 5 tests of your group mates. So you're going to download those, take them, you're going to upload them in this discussion board with your answers. So in this discussion board, you're going to attach, you're going to reply, you're going to attach your test with the answers, and you see here, attach a file, just browse your computer and take the test that you took with the answers, and then give feedback. This is where you're going to give the feedback. So attach the test and then give feedback on how that person can make this test better, what you liked, what you didn't like. Try to avoid just being nice. I've saw so much feedback in the learning target discussion board, which was great targets. Boy, these were terrific. Even when they weren't terrific, they weren't specific or they weren't measurable. And it's okay. You don't have to say nice things. You said, hey, I thought you could have helped. I thought you could have gotten a little more specific with this one, and do it in a non-critical way. Do it in a way that's more supportive, where you're giving feedback that's going to help the person get better, rather than just saying nice job and then moving on. So that's going to be due in 3 weeks. So you have plenty of time to upload your test. You have 2 weeks to create your test, upload it, and then you have another week to take tests, and you're just taking them. It's open book, and then you're going to give feedback to the people in your group. So you have a true-false quiz. You also need to watch the video, 5 Keys to Rigorous Assessment. This is where Session 8 You're going to have as I mentioned, a quiz on absence of bias. You're going to submit your initial test to this discussion board, and that's it. You're going to watch this video on 5 keys to project-based learning. You're going to read chapter 8 in your textbook, Popham, and you're going to read chapter 7 in Chappuis et al. And you're going to read this article by Hadi Andrade on assessment in the service of learning. Now, this is a great article. I think I've shared it with some of you already, where Hadi Andrade from the University of Albany talks about how she created rubrics with her students. So it's pretty powerful. I've done this in my live classes, and it works. So I would recommend it. This week you also finish your first draft of your select response test, as I mentioned before. Please take note of the verbs I provided to assist you in the target creation process. Please avoid verbs like appreciate, cover, realize, be aware of, familiarize, study, become acquainted with, gain knowledge of, understand, comprehend, know, and learn. And I think I have a copy of those verbs. Here are the verbs. You can see that they're broken down into categories: analysis, which are reasoning questions; behavior, ELA, application, those are also reasoning; arts and crafts, physical ed, knowledge, simple tasks, science, music, mathematics, social studies, study skills, synthesis skills, which are also higher order thinking and reasoning, and understanding. So instead of saying understanding, which many of you are tempted to do, you can use these words here. So those are my verbs, and I've shared them with several of you already in the Learning Target discussion board. You also find that formatting, especially for the matching section, is a big hurdle to overcome, which can be minimized if you watch my Creating the Selected Response Test video. You can find it in several places. It's in last session's folders, assignment folders, and it's in this session's course materials folder. So here are the steps that you need to take in the test creation process. Become familiar with the EdTPA. You should have done that already. Create your 4 or 5 learning targets that are specific and measurable. You should have done that already. Write 20 to 25 questions that align with your learning targets. You need a minimum of 6 matching and then 3 of all the other 3 types. There are no written questions, written response questions, or extended response questions. So I think some of you already gave me a little hint that you were going to do that. Not in a selected response test. This is just a selected response test. And some of your targets may be appropriate for written response, like when you explain something or describe something, but not for a selected response test. Once you've completed your first draft, do not cut and paste it into the text box of the discussion board. Just attach it as a Word document, because it will mess up your formatting if you try to do that. Download and take the exams of your group mates. Do not upload your answers until next session's discussion board, and I've already made that available, so you can do that whenever you want. You will also be asked to give feedback, as I've mentioned, on ways to improve the test that you take. It's very important that you read Popham, Chappuis, as well as Is This a Trick Question by Clay, which is in, I believe that's in ancillary materials, or no, I believe it's in the Selected Response Test Creation folder. So check that out. That's a pretty good article, it's like a handbook. It's a short 15-page handout. These are all handouts that will assist you. Remember that your questions are on the EdTPA Elementary Education Assessment Handbook, not the special ed assessment handbook. So along with your group mates, I'll be giving you extensive feedback on your first draft. Not your second draft, I won't. You will use these comments to improve your test. which you will again upload in a future discussion board to a different group, a new group, who will also take it and then give you feedback. Keep notes of the process. I've made an analytic summary template available in, I believe, in course materials. And you'll see there's a 3-part analytic summary template there. You should be taking notes on that, because you need, that's in all 3 parts, you need citations. So as you're going through and you're reading, say, Clay, or you're reading Kislik to find how to write behavioral objectives, you can make note of that. When you're doing your test creation process analysis, you can take notes and what you learned from it as you were going through it. Well, I messed this up. I really didn't know how to write my targets to be specific and measurable, etc., etc. But you can take notes on this template. And that way, when it comes time to submit it, at the end, you'll be done. I've also included it in the overview of session 8. You'll see down here where it says anchor activities, I've added it. So you now have 3 anchor activities. You have the baseline survey, you have the vocabulary in your own words, and you have the 3-part analytic summary now that you can be filling out as you go through. So that's the last thing is you have a true-false quiz, and I think I mentioned that already. That you should be taking the hard copy first, then going into the quiz discussion board before you take it, because you can only take it once. So that's it for now. We have a week off, so I won't be doing a teaching memo next Monday. If you are on break, enjoy. I will be checking into the Learning Target discussion board off and on during the week. So I will talk to you all again in 2 weeks.